Hello again, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about the core essence of narcissism. And I'm not going to beat around the bush, I never will. And I know I've lost subscribers and other channels lose subscribers who talk about this. And other people, many of you guys who comment, love this. Say, Brian, go more into this, more into this. Well, here you go. This one's for you guys. But it's also from the bottom of my heart, and it's the core of my mission in talking about narcissism, is to expose it for what it really is. You know what it really is? It's a spiritual disorder. It's an evil. It's not just a mental disorder. It's not just a personality disorder. This at its core is demonic. It's spiritual in nature. I can't say that strongly enough. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And that specifically, I want to talk about the guiding spirits of the narcissist. So they do have guiding spirits. Let me prove this to you. Bear with me for a minute. If you doubt this, please listen to what I have to say today, and I think you could at least see my point and maybe outright change your mind. Let me talk to you about how I know that the narcissist has these guiding spirits, demonic, evil spirits in their lives. Let me tell you how. First example, the playbook. How do you explain the fact that the narcissist has the same playbook regardless of who they are? They do the same things. It doesn't matter if they're a guy, a girl, where they live, how old they are. They always have the same basic playbook that they follow. How do you explain it? And let me give you a powerful example. Entering a relationship, how does the cycle with a narcissist go? Whether there's somebody who goes boop, 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 boop into relationships, or maybe they have a longer cycle and they marry and stuff like that. Again, they're always doing their own thing. The narcissist is never faithful or all in, no matter how long you're together. But what does the playbook happen? I mean, what is the cycle like? Well, it follows a pattern. They come into your life and they're going to love bomb you. They're going to throw fake adoration, praise. They're going to build you up. If it's a female covert narcissist, for example, she's going to try to give you a lot of sexual attention. She's going to overwhelm you with this kind of stuff. Maybe she tries to get pregnant. Maybe he tries to do it. No matter if it's guy or girl, they want to get you trapped and fixed on them as fast as they can by just drilling you with adoration and praise, giving you everything, promising you the world, mirroring you, just just grabbing you and pulling you in as tightly as they can to ensnare you. That's their plan. And you thought you found the greatest thing in the world, someone you couldn't even imagine existed. That's what you thought. After they have you uh, under their finger, and they know this, they know when they have you because you've said, I love you, and you mean it. You have gotten engaged, you've gotten pregnant, you've moved in, you've gotten married, whatever you did, then they know they have you, and that's when the fun begins. Like clockwork, they move to stage two, devaluation. They're going to beat you down. They're going to pull away really quickly out of nowhere and make you scratch your head and say, wait, what? 2 days ago you loved me, and now you're talking about how what I should do in my next relationship? Or they're talking about going back to an ex, or they're dragging you through the mud for something you did or didn't do that was probably very small or non existent. And that's when it starts. And that toxic push pull pattern goes throughout the rest of that relationship. They're going to show you who they were at the beginning a little bit, and a little less, and a little less, and a little less. And they're going to be more mean spirited as they show you less of who they used to be. So they're going to basically, Dr. Jekyll is going to appear far more often. Mr. Hyde is going to appear far more often than Dr. Jekyll did. He's going to slowly phase Dr. Jekyll completely out, and all you're going to see is Hyde, except for rare occasions when they need something or they want to keep you in the game. So there, they did that. On to stage three. They forced you to discard them by their abuse, or they found something they deemed better or new or shiny, and they've discarded you and moved on to somebody else. Like clockwork. And then lastly, may or may not happen is them coming back and hoovering you quickly after the relationship or way down the road. And I've told you recently on a video about hoovering. I don't think it happens as much as it used to, and there's reasons for that. Go back and see that video. It's 3 or 4 videos ago. But anyway, That's a cycle. That's over and over and over that they do this. They find somebody and love bomb them. Then they devalue them. Then there's the discard. And then there's sometimes a Hoover. And then the next person. And the next. And the next. And the next. And the next. And they all do this. They all do this. How do you explain that? Maybe there's more going on than meets the eye. Um, Two, they know who to target. They have like a spidey sense. They target people of the light. You know how moths are, and that people use this example a lot, but it's true. Moths are drawn to a flame. Bugs are drawn to the light. Well, so are they. They can somehow sense people of the light, and they're always on pursuit to grab and ensnare and entangle and destroy those people. Along the way, they destroy a bunch of people that just get in the way, or their temporary supply. They're just there while I'm looking. But they're always on pursuit of people of the light, and I'll be darned if they don't always know where they're at. They're drawn to us supernaturally. They really are. So they know who to target. That's another thing. I'm not sure how they know how to do that unless it's spiritual. Three, they know when to come into your life. They know when people are vulnerable. They know when people are down. Maybe they're depressed. Maybe they've gone through divorce. Maybe they're having trouble. Maybe they're not sure of themselves. They lack confidence. They don't know their value. Whatever it is, they are able to spot those people very quickly and they attack them because they know they can pull things over them easier. And those type of people and people of the light in general are typically much more empathetic, loving, kind, willing to put up with things that the person's doing because they're just a really kind, loving person. Well, they know all of that. So they know who to target and then they know when to come into your life. And I want to be clear, even if you had vulnerabilities and things when they targeted you, that doesn't mean the relationship was your fault. And it doesn't mean that, because I hear this all the time. Well, you didn't know your boundaries. If you'd just been in a better place, really it's your fault because you weren't in the right place. Hogwash. Everyone has some vulnerabilities. The fact that an evil, demonically attached person came into your life to seize upon anything you did have going on is not your fault. Okay? And besides, you couldn't have known what you were dealing with before you knew what you were dealing with. You can't know what you're supposed to guard against in this evil person before you've experienced the evil person. So, anyway, moving on. They somehow, this is a huge one, they somehow know energetically when you are pulling away. Uh, this is one of the most baffling things I dealt with. Anytime I started to pull away from the narcissist, I didn't say anything usually. I wasn't broadcasting it. It could just be very small, basic ways that I was distancing myself. And man, she was on it, just on it, to the point where I knew there was something weird going on with it. How can this individual know that I am thinking about pulling out of this relationship? How can she know that? I didn't tell her, but she knew. And right, especially at the end, um, this person threw all the cards out. We need to get back to taking walks. We need to get back into Bible studies. We need to fish more often together. We need to get back to the things we were doing because she knew energetically that I was pulling away. And that's part of that trauma bond and that connection to this person that exists. They can feel your emotions. And in fact, those spirits, those guiding spirits of the narcissist, inform them and give them intel. They monitor our lives because we're with them, and then they relay that to the narcissist. I'm not saying the narcissist always knows that on a verbal, it's not like it's verbally communicated, but they know. Oh, they know. So they understand when you're pulling away and when they need to shower you with breadcrumbs, they need to come back and pretend to be the person they were at the beginning, give you a mini love bomb stage. Oh, yeah, they're energetically connected to you in that way. How about another one? They know when or if they should return. So just as they knew when to come into your life, after the relationship ends, they know when to try to hoover you again. And they somehow know if they even should hoover you or not. See, more of these guiding spirits of the narcissist. They're relaying to them hey, this person, they haven't got over you. This person is wherever they're at. I know that you don't see them. Maybe they're blocked on social media and everything. I know you can't look them up. You don't live together. You don't live close anymore. They're still hurting. Give that one a try. Give that one a little letter on the porch. Bump into that one again. Maybe drive past their house and honk. Maybe see if they're out there and strike up a conversation. Oh, what are you doing outside of your house? That's my house. That's the sort of stuff they'll do because they're on alert. The narcissist is given intel, like I said, from the spiritual forces. So they also know this if they should even try to return. As I mentioned, not all these narcissists are coming back for people. And the biggest deterrent, in my opinion, on why they don't at times is because they know you figured them out. You are too spiritually strong for them to enter your life. It would be impossible. They can't break back in, and they know it. And more importantly, the powers in charge of the narcissist know it. And so they're not going to say, go try that person, go waste your time, because they know they can't get in. Instead, they'll say, there's another unsuspected victim. Try this one. She's down on her luck right now. Or hey, go to that guy. He's a person of the light, but he doesn't know narcissism. Shh, go. That's time better spent for the devil because he wants to waste your time and waste your life. And if they can't succeed with you, they're not going to try it. And the powers in charge of them aren't going to try it. So that's another way the spirits alert them of what to do. How about this one? If you're still not buying this at all so far, I'm telling you right now, the narcissist has an ability to know what you're doing and sometimes kind of what you're thinking. I'm not saying that the devil has the power to mind read and things, but say you're at your house and you're discussing something with a friend on the phone. You're talking about your relationship. Man, I really wish that we did this more often. I really wish she was more like this or he was more like this. And oh my gosh, I just got a text from the narcissist. They just said the same exact thing that I was telling my friend. These things happen. I got texts from the narcissist that were literally the very things I had just been talking about with my daughter or with my parents or a friend. Was talking, maybe you're talking about how we need to spend more time with Bible studies, pray more often. And I get a text literally right after that saying, I really think we need to spend more time praying together and we need to do more Bible studies. And you know what that causes you to think? Oh my gosh, this is from God. This is from God because there's no other way. How does she know that I was thinking that? How did she know I was just talking about that? Well, maybe you've noticed if you're a believer and you're a person of the light, sometimes we know things we shouldn't know. Sometimes we know conversations that have transpired between other people when we weren't even there. Sometimes we're alerted to situations when we shouldn't otherwise know. Well, the narcissist is too, because they have spiritual powers that are working for them. Not the same power, not the same strength. Satan is not God. The God of this world is not nearly as powerful as Jesus Christ, but there's a power nonetheless. So the narcissist actually knows things sometimes that they shouldn't know. Some of you have told me that you experienced this very thing. How could they have known this? Well, there's one solution. There's only one solution. They didn't just dream it up out of nowhere. They were relayed information. Something told them what was going on. So, are you noticing the thread of how all this works together? There's an energetic presence, a guiding spirit or spirits behind what they're doing. So, let me give you another one. This is really interesting. So, I guess this is kind of wrapping. How would you explain how all of this transpires? They all follow the same playbook. It's a cycle that just does this, same steps every time, person to person to person. They all go through this. How do they know who to target? How do they know when to come? How do they know when you're pulling away? How do they know when or if they should try to return? How do they know what you're thinking or what you've been talking about? Friends, the only solution is, and if you're a skeptic out here, how can you be? If you've been through this and you've experienced it, what is your explanation? Drop it below. I want to hear a naturalistic, that means a totally materialistic, devoid of spiritual uh, implications, devoid of God as an explanation. You tell me how they do this and why all of this happens with these narcissists. I'd love to hear it. Just try to come up with a naturalistic explanation for it. Well, another thing that's very interesting is you'll notice that the narcissist is a perpetual child. They are the most immature, petulant children on earth. They're like evil, demonic little prankster kids, as well how they act oftentimes. But you'll also notice that in other respects, the narcissist seems like they're 100 years old, that they've been on this earth forever, like their butter scraped over too much bread. You know what I mean? Like there's something there that's just ancient within them. Some of you guys are going to understand what I'm saying. They just seem really, really mature, like they've been around forever. In other respects, they're petulant children. Well, you know why it seems like they've been around forever? And do you know why they're so successful at playing these games that I mentioned, that all these things, and why they all do it? You've got to understand something. You're not dealing with somebody who's been around for 20 years or 30 years or 40 years. You're dealing with somebody who has powers that have been around for eons. See, they're under satanic control. They're under demonic control. So these spirits within them or that are guiding them have been doing this for ages. It's the same ones that you can read about back in ancient literature. It's the same kind of Jezebel spirits, Lilith spirits, whatever you want to say, that existed back in biblical times, like Old Testament times. So it's the same thing. This is why they seem ancient, because they are ancient. These spirits have been around for eons, and it's the very same ones that manipulated people 2,000, 4,000, 5,000 years ago are the same spirits that are manipulating people today. And there's many of them. It's not just a couple. I mean, there's scores of them. There's legions of them. So that's a helpful little hint. Why does the narcissist seem like they've kind of been around forever? Well, the spirits have. That's why. So I'm going to wrap this up. But hopefully you understand. Those of you, I'm just preaching to the choir for some of you, but if you're skeptical about this and you're wondering to yourself, why is it that they all do the same things and they seem to know things they shouldn't know and they work in these funky patterns, and it's because there's way more going on than a mental impairment, than a personality disorder. Narcissism is a personality disorder that spawned, that has its basis, its foundation in a spiritual disorder. They've given themselves over to the powers of darkness. You're not dealing with a mere human being. You're dealing with somebody who has a lot of help from the spiritual forces, the evil spiritual forces in the heavenly realms, the realm that we can't see, that's around us, that we can't see though, because we're not of the same substance right now. We're not built that way. We're in this realm. We're stuck. They are not stuck. They can interact in both the heavenly and the earthly realm. They have those powers in charge of them. So I want to urge you guys to really think through this yourself. If you have a better explanation, I'd love to hear it. I know there isn't one, but knock yourself out. I'd love to hear it. So anyway, hope you guys enjoy this. I also want to conclude, when you're fighting this spiritual battle, you need to armor up. You have to have the Spirit of God on your side. You have to have Christ. You have to be a person of the light to combat the darkness. If you're still, mind is spinning on, man, this relationship didn't make sense. I just can't make sense of this thing. And you're not looking at this spiritually, you better start. And I promise you, it'll make a lot better sense, and you will recover and you will heal if you go to the source, which is Jesus Christ. So guys, I hope this is interesting for you. Really appreciate each and every one of you. And I'm going to keep speaking the truth. And if you want to unsubscribe to this channel, so be it. I'm not going to cry myself to sleep. I'm not going to shed a tear or lose a second's thought about telling you the truth and trying to help you and lead you to Christ. So anyway, thanks guys for everything, and I will come at you with another one soon. Until then, God bless.